with his new name OJ. I hope he beat that shit. I heard they sneak this me, but I ain't peep that shit. Been sowing murder all around the city, I can't reap that shit. If you ain't smoking triple P or crazy man, then keep that shit. I'm out this bitch.
It's a vibe.
Yo.
It is. Vibeship TV, we in the building. Go subscribe, man, to all platforms, you know what I'm saying? Apple, Spotify, you know what I'm saying? YouTube, you already know. We in the building, you know what I'm saying? Vibeship TV. And shout out to Eon. You know, shout out to You Dig. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to, hold up, who else, man?
Dress Confident.
Dress Confident, Dirty Laundry. Hey, 111, Juice Bar. Hey, you already know we in the building. It's a vibe.
Play like the chip shizzler. It's me, Dreyking, live, Vibeship TV. The song that y'all was just listening to was Duke Bill. Just to give y'all a heads up, shout out to the youngin'. He's going crazy in the city right now. And I actually got somebody here that he been running around the city for a while, different countries, different states, been doing a lot of stuff when it comes to the industry and touring. I was about to say, I want you to introduce yourself, brother, everybody.
Yo, so Brandon Moon, Hippie at Heart Clothing, Randy Restock, Vintage Clothing, Late Eye in the same trap, flipping the clothes. I do tour management for DJ Afterthought, EDM music, help fed the God a little bit, just kind of in and out the mix in any way that I can. Yeah, that's about it.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on, brother.
I appreciate the invite, man.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you for coming through, definitely.
For sure.
Father said to start everything off, can you tell us about your background and how you became a road manager, bro?
Oh, so I was gonna say we got time.
But hold on. Before we get into that though, let's just tell them like the people like where you from.
Yeah. Okay. So
And like your upbringing too.
Yeah,
okay.
upbringing.
So I'm originally from Mercer, Pennsylvania, about an hour north of Pittsburgh. Grew up in a town like 2,500 people. Graduated high school 2011. Went to Point Park University, downtown Pittsburgh. Played golf. I wasn't that good, but I played golf. Lived in Rhode Island. Worked corporate America out in Providence, New England states for about three and a half years. Moved back home after COVID, when COVID started really, and lived back home, my hometown for about a year. Moved back down to the city, and I've been in the city since. So a little bit of everything, all over the place.
Living several lives.
Yeah, for sure.
You already know.
So rolling off with that, back to my question, can you tell us about your background and how you became a road manager?
So it kind of happened on accident, and I know that's like the cliche thing that everybody says, but it really happened on accident basically. So Ryan, Afterthought, that I tour manage with, he has been in the music scene, hip hop, rap music scene for a long time, like 15-ish plus years, I would imagine. And him and I like knew each other, were acquaintances, like weren't really tight, but it was, I guess it would have been April of 2021. One of my buddies, DJ Yemi, had an event down at Cosmo on Southside. Cosmo, RIP, had an event down there and wanted me to sponsor it for Hippie at Heart for my clothing company. And I told him, yeah, and it just happened to be the same weekend as my birthday. So it was like a birthday party, and I was
Lined
like,
up
yeah,
just right.
bet. So anyways, pulled up there. Ryan and his wife were there, and I was BSing with him, and he knew that like I was in like the EDM scene, went to festivals, went to those kind of shows, and enjoyed that type of music. And he had told me, he's like, look, like, and he had just had a song come out that was like an EDM song that was like pretty popping. And he was like, look, like I'm going to start making that kind of music, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I just told him like, you know, if there's anything I can ever do to help you, let me know. You know, if it's just like reposting on my story or like whatever I can do, I'm happy to help. And fast forward to July, I think it was like the second to last week or last week of July, was the week of Lollapalooza. And if you don't know Lollapalooza, big, gigantic, like 100,000 plus people at this festival for 3-4 days in Chicago every year. And I knew that he was going, and he had posted something on his story about like, I'm coming out for like Riot 10 set, and Riot 10 is a really big dubstep artist. And I was like, I just messaged him, I was like, what the fuck are you doing coming out for Riot 10 set? And he was like, oh, like we got a song coming out, like, you know, I'd try to get you a pass, but they're strict because of COVID, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm not reaching, like I'm not trying to get a free pass. Like, I'm just like genuinely intrigued, like what you're doing and what you got going on. And he was like, yeah, like we got a song coming out, like blah, blah, blah. I'll keep you posted. I'm like, yeah, for sure. And later that day, that was a Tuesday, later that night, I had like just got my house that I live in now. And I was like moving stuff from my family's back down there. It's like 10 p.m. at night. And I get a call from him. And like, I kind of like forgot that I even had his number or his contact in my phone. And I pick up and I'm like, what's going on? He goes, yo, well, like, I got an offer for you. And I was like, okay, what's up? And he's like, so the guy that was supposed to drive me for the last, like, however many months, he just had something come up last minute. He can't go. He's like, if you're down to go, I'll give you his artist pass and you can come with me, but we got to leave tomorrow morning at noon and you got to drive because flights are like crazy. And like, he doesn't like flying. Sorry for ratting him out, but he has flight anxiety. I don't like flying. Right. And same with driving. Him and I like both have been in bad car accidents, and so like he doesn't like driving. And like I don't mind it as much. I like it more if I'm the one driving, to be fair. But I was like, all right, well, let me think about it. Give me an hour. I said, I'll call you back in an hour. And he said, okay. And so like I hit a bunch of my friends up. I was like, what should I do? And everybody's like, oh, you got to go. And I was like, all right. And like I had nothing going on that weekend. So like I hit him back 15 minutes later. I was like, all right, I'm in, I'll go. And he was like, for real? And I was like, yeah. So long story short, ended up going there for the weekend. Short story long. Ended up going there for the weekend. So he also tour manages for Earth Gang and another Chicago rapper, Mick Jenkins, I'm sorry. And they were all performing, and Mick Jenkins, his whole crew, he had like 25, 30 people with him. And Ryan was like supposed to do transport, but he had to get to the stage to go perform with Riot 10. And so he was like, yo, can you handle this? Blah, blah, blah. And like one of the buses was like lost. One of them like went to the wrong hotel.
Whatever could go wrong went wrong.
Like literally, like it was just a mess. And like a lot of times it's like that with the big festivals and stuff. Like there's just a lot of stuff going on. And so I ended up like getting their whole entourage like back to the hotel, took a golf cart over to the stage to like go see him. By the time I got there, he was already done with Riot 10, didn't even see him come out. And so like hung out there with him for the weekend and like helped him out. And it just turned into like, I went to school for that. I went to school for, my degree was in sport arts and entertainment management, which is basically like a business degree, but like with, you know, like
music industry
specialization with like music, sports, etc. So like I knew how to do a lot of that stuff. It's a lot of it's common sense, but at the same time, like I had a little bit of a background in it. And he was just like, yo, like you did a good job. You really helped me out. Like I appreciate it. You want to keep coming to shows? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And you know, fast forward to October of that year, like I'd been like running the festivals and doing stuff with him all year. And then like he just asked me to be his tour manager, and it'll be 3 years at the end of July.
And the rest was history.
Yeah. So it's just like, but again, one of those opportunities that all I had to say was, no, I can't go, or like make up some stupid ass excuse. Like I got something going on this weekend. Cause like made me a little bit nervous. You know what I mean? Cause like it was just one of those situations that like, I'm happy that like I put myself in a position to be nervous and take a chance, and if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't. But it turned into like what it is now. So never know what's gonna happen, man. That's for sure.
Sound like it worked out in your favor.
Yeah, no, it was definitely like a whirlwind. Even just like the last like 3 years, it's been hard to wrap my head around. Like very grateful. A lot of crazy stuff has happened. That's for sure. Definitely living a different life than I thought I would be living, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But great experiences.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Absolutely.
So a question for you is, you know, what does a typical day in the life on a road manager look like when you're on tour?
I don't think there's ever a typical day, to be honest. Like it depends. Like if you're on a structured tour where you're in like a different city, different state every night for like 20, 30, 40 dates or something, that's different. We haven't had a tour like that except for when we were in Europe. And we had like, you know, random shows, like we're also traveling around to see things. But I would say like on a show day, say we just have like a random show in general, it's kind of like, if it's not that far away and we're driving to get there, it's, you know, the drive is the earlier part in the day. Get there, get food, check into the hotel, get to the venue, make sure everything's good with the venue, kind of pull up earlier. Like a lot of times it's like go to the venue first, then go get some food or something, or like screw around for a little while or go like meet people that like we might know there, or like it could literally be anything. Like you never know what's going to go on. And yeah, it definitely varies, but then like do the show, a lot of times hang out for later than we need to be out afterwards, or like if we're like, he's good about it though too, because he's a little bit older than me, and like he's got a life at home and stuff too, so like he's good about being like, okay, like let's go to bed, you know what I mean, or it's like let's get out
He
of here.
said, now's the time.
And I'm like,
He's
thank
drawing
God.
the line
Like,
in
I
sand.
don't need to be out till like 5 a.m. anymore either. Like I've done my stuff, so it's like one of those things. I'm just like, I'm more than happy to go back to the hotel early a lot of nights too, but it just always depends. Like a lot of times the work like beforehand is like doing like the advances, like the tech and the hospitality stuff. Like you do that weeks before, so it's not like the day of. Like you might be following up with like, you know, the people that are like in charge of like the ROS, like the run a show and like the schedule for the day and how things are going to go and like who you need to meet up with when you get there and that kind of stuff.
So it's like a lot of preparation.
Yeah.
There's not too much. Like I don't want to make it sound like it's a significant amount of work. Like
Is
it's
it like
real,
a wingman joint? Like it's like
yes. That's,
Okay.
yes.
All right,
That's
well,
a
you
great
confirmed
way to
it. There
put
you
it.
go.
Yes.
No, I got you.
So it's one of those things. It's like just get your stuff done ahead of time and just make sure that you're putting out fires like before the show, during the show, if there's anything going on. The majority of the time it's all right, but it's like you could be performing at like a really small venue with like, you know, promoters that like maybe aren't as on top of things versus like you go to a big venue where like it's very by the book and they do everything a particular way and it's very, you know, down to a science how they do every single thing. So it kind of varies based on where you're at too, for sure.
And just to you know, kind of dig into that just a little bit more. So like when you're on these, you know, these tours, when you're doing them, is it always dependent on basically like, all right, as long as we got the right team, we can wing this. We got it. Do you feel like that when you're moving amongst your?
I would say there's definitely a lot of people that wing it, and like to an extent. I mean, like we can wing it with certain things, but there's other things that you can't wing it with. You know what I mean?
Right.
As far as like making sure everything's in line before you get there, as far as like where you're going to eat, or like, you know, like what like rest areas we're stopping at on the way, like that kind of stuff, you could wing that. Or like even the hotel too, it's like, you know, you might just like wait till the day of to get a hotel, but it's like it's very different versus like one or two shows for a weekend versus like a whole entire tour, because like a whole entire tour, you know, ideally is like mapped out and like it's set in stone prior and all that stuff's handled.
Gotcha.
So it's not as quite from the hip with a big tour, but if it's just like random shows individually, like it just kind of depends. Like we haven't had
I
like,
got you. So
yeah,
like the random shows, it's like, okay, yeah, but it's like tours, like no, that's set.
there's more structure.
Yeah, there's way more structure.
Definitely more
A
structure.
lot more things set in stone.
Yeah,
Okay.
100% for sure.
Yeah.
So speaking about that, it's kind of like the second question in that. What are some of the biggest challenges you encounter while managing a tour, and how did you overcome them? Even if there's like a story that you could even bring up.
You know, it's just like the way I think about it is like everything is so different with every experience, every single show. Like anything could happen. I've had like the craziest stuff happen and like stuff that I'm just like, there's no way that I would ever have been able to expect it. Like one example that like really sticks in my mind, and I just think it's like the funniest thing ever. We played in New York City, like in Brooklyn. I think this was last summer, and it was a show that had like multiple artists. It was like in not a convention center, but like in a big like hotel style like
Lobby, like a big,
like a
this
hall?
big room.
Well, it was like
yeah.
it had a layout with like multiple rooms. Yeah.
Okay.
But like we were in this one room that was kind of like almost like a wedding venue where we were performing at, and there was like the sound and lighting guy was like in the back of the room, and my guy's performing, and the lights keep going on and off. And I'm like, what's, and it wasn't necessarily like the house lights, like the whole lights for the whole room, but like random lights that shouldn't have been going off like above the stage and stuff. And I can't figure out why they're going off. And I'm running back and forth to the sound guy from the stage, like across around the room, around all these people hopping around, dancing and stuff. Go back, lighting guy's not there. Come back, and they're like, lights are still going. I'm like, okay, whatever, go back. Go talk to the lighting guy. Lighting guy's like, well, I'm not doing anything. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what is going on? And then I come back, and everybody's laughing at me, and I'm like, what are you laughing at? the bass was so loud from the subs that it was rattling the light switch, and the lights were like fluttering on and off on their own, and we had to have someone stand there and hold the light switch down while he was performing.
That's crazy.
So like that's one of the examples of like you just don't
that's
expect
random.
something like that to be a situation, but it just randomly happens. So it's like it could literally be anything. Like in general, the majority of the time, it's like nothing nobody can't handle. But it's like something like that. It's like, is there like a ghost in here? Like, like, what is going on right now?
Especially after you talk to the guy, the sound guy.
Well, yeah,
the guy that do the lights. You're like, so
somebody's
going
turning
on
these
a joke,
lights
like-
off, bro. Yeah, like these lights are not turning themselves off. Like something's going on, and I can't figure it out. But it was like everybody just thought it was funny because it's like you don't think that's gonna happen. Like it just kind of threw everybody off. But it was definitely a moment for
that
sure.
bass was bumping.
It was loud in there. It was definitely bumping for sure. That's not a lie.
Absolutely.
Never know, bro. Never know what's gonna go on though. Yep.
Just another question. Like you said, you work with Fed to God. So what has it been like working with Fed to God, and how it different from other artists that you have worked with?
So when I say I work with Fed too, like I've been given the opportunity to tour manage for him. Like when we were at Red Rocks for 420 on the Rocks, like Wiz's show out there, and he had he played 420 Fest, which was a downtown festival in Denver on the same day. So it was like he went and played that. We went to Red Rocks that night. Ryan Afterthought had like a show after that later in the night at another venue, like a warehouse, like late at night. So it was like there was a lot of hopping around. We had like 5 shows in like 2 days there. But as far as Fed, it's like I'm not gonna say like I'm like his official tour manager. Like I'm there to help him whenever I'm asked to help him.
Gotcha.
And so it's like I don't like consider myself having like a particular title or anything. Like I don't like to be a guy that like oversteps as far as like what my position is.
Right.
Like I'm just there for everybody if anybody needs help with anything like that. But like Fed's a good dude. Like he works really, really hard, and like he's trying to perfect his sound and just like be as creative as he possibly can. And so like I really appreciate that. He's on his way to Paris to go perform in Paris on Thursday, 4th of July. He's performing at his own little festival event out there. Yeah, so go Fed. Fed's on his way to Paris right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Gotta get that pasta.
The food over there is something. It's good.
Hey, we had Mike up here.
Mike? Oh yeah, no, Mike's a good
We
dude.
had Mike
I like
up
Mike.
here.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen Mike in a little while, probably a month or so, but Mike's a cool dude for sure.
Yeah, he's cool.
No, he's got good people around him too. So it's like Will and like the whole Taylor gang team. They do a lot. So it's I don't know how Will keeps his stuff together and can just do everything that he can. Like it's impressive. It's very impressive to watch him work. I don't get to see him very often, but it's like I don't like to bother him either. Like I gotta really have like something important to like even try to text him because like I don't want to. I know he got plenty of stuff going on, so I just try to mind my own and help when I'm needed and stay out of everybody's way. So.
Hey, use your resources well.
It's easy that way. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to do too much. I feel like I'm like lucky to be here and be able to help and stuff in the first place. So I just don't want to be like that guy.
No reason
like,
to overextend if you ain't got to.
No.
I dig what you're saying. You said if I'm in the paint and I'm open, pass it to me.
Yeah, like I'm
if you
always.
ain't gotta pass it to me, take the shot.
Yeah, y'all know I'm here to help, and like that's what it is. Like I'm not doing it to be cloudy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
that
Genuine love and
that's
relationships.
never a look that doesn't get you nowhere. So
It's not, and it's good that you even move and navigate that way, just to be a team member, understanding what structure is put in place, you being part of the structure, you being a team player, and knowing your position, bro.
Well, it's like, one, know your role, and two, it's just like I don't need to be there and like be a pain in the ass. Is the way I look at it. You know what I mean? It's like I'm there to work, so if you need help, I'm gonna help you guys out. But like I'm not gonna be there like trying to be like taking Instagram pics and shit with people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's not. To each their own. There's plenty of people that like doing things that way, but it's just like one of those deals. It's like you're there for a reason, and it's not to be acting like that.
No, facts.
Yeah.
Everybody's part of it for a reason. Like, hey, think about it. There's the coach, there's the water boy, there's the sub, there's the main event. Everybody's here for a reason, and everybody got to play their part the right way.
Right, for sure, 100%.
Hold on 1 second. Now, I know we spoke on a couple things when it comes to touring, but how do so? Let's say I'll give you a scenario. I'll say it like that. Let's say that you and DJ Afterthought, y'all are on tour, and there was a certain emergency, and let's say, do y'all cancel anything, or do y'all just still go 4-foot and then handle it after? As in, like, he has to come back home, or you got to come back home? Has anything like that ever happened?
I can't think of like a particular situation where that's happened, and I might be wrong. Like, there may be a situation like that, but I guess it would depend on the severity of the emergency.
Gotcha.
And depending where we are, you know what I mean? Like if we were like at a show.
Music. I just lost a quarter down at Rivers, I ain't tripping. Parent teacher conference with my glizzy, I ain't slipping. Ay. I still go to Hooks and Homewood to get my chicken. Ay. They ask me why I risk so much, I say I'm from the trenches. With all my chains on me, controversy strippers came to me. Poppy rain on me, I ain't got no crutcher sprain on me, but I got cane on me.
Here in the city and something went down, like obviously like you can reschedule with promoters if you have to. Like you don't want to have to do that, you know, you don't want to have to completely like revamp a whole situation like that. But I mean, I guess it depends what it is, you know. If like if I like broke my toe like jumping down 3 flights of steps or something stupid, like you know, I'd try to muscle it through or have somebody else that's with us handle it for the night and like tap out. But it's like if, you know, someone's sick, or it's like if there's something going on, or it's like, you know, we get a flat tire or something like that, then I'd say kind of handle it accordingly. But like I can't really think of any situations in particular where we've had to like bail out on a show that was like an extreme emergency off the top of my head. I could be wrong, like there could be, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
That sounds like a good thing, though.
yeah, no, like I'm trying to think, because I feel like there's been like random things that have happened, but I can't think of anything in general that was like significant where like we had like a giant issue like that though. No.
Nah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, you just got to keep on your toes all the time, because it's like you don't know what's going to go on.
Keep your head on the swivel.
Yeah, all the time, for sure. Always.
So what's one of the most memorable, you know what I'm saying, memories of, you know, an experience that you had on tour? Like, I know you said about the lights, but something that really like shocks you at your most, like.
I would say probably when Afterthought was on the Tomorrowland lineup in Belgium. We played there. That was last July. Was it July? End of July. I think he played July 28th or 29th. And that was just like a prolific festival for me as someone that was interested and like loved the EDM scene. For the longest time, it was one of those festivals that seemed like almost kind of unattainable to attend, because it's in like Boom, Belgium. Like this whole town is built around this festival that's there every year. So like that was one of those ones I was like, man, like someday like I'd want to go to that, you know. But like he played it and it was crazy. It was just like surreal being there, because I'd never been out of the country other than going to the Bahamas for like 2 days once, like 4 or 5 years ago. So like just going to Europe and like seeing all that stuff, but like seeing that festival and being a part of that festival was just like surreal to me. Like I still, looking back on that trip, and I think like Ryan can kind of say the same thing too. It's like, it's almost like hard to believe that it happened. It's like kind of crazy that like we did that and had that. So I mean, it's just one of those things like to be very grateful for looking back on. Like that one was definitely, that was top. That was probably one of the biggest ones. Being at Red Rocks too. Like I'd never been to Red Rocks till I think probably like 3 years ago. And I think in the last 3 years I've been there like probably 6 or 7 times. I think the last time I went was like my 6th or my 7th.
Okay.
And that venue, like it's probably my favorite venue in the country that I've ever seen. And it's just like the way it's built into a mountain, basically. Like it has like all these natural acoustics that are just, it sounds beautiful in there. Like that's a great example why like Grateful Dead and a bunch of these bands recorded so many live sets there, because everything just sounded naturally like so perfect. So like that venue in particular, just being there, like I mean, I've got so many things that I can think of that were just like great situations and memories like that. But those 2 places in particular were definitely kind of like up there on the list as far as top 3 and not number 3, you know.
Got you. How long was the Belgium tour?
So we were there. It was like we were in Belgium, Germany, Hungary, Italy, France, like the Netherlands, obviously, like Amsterdam and Belgium, and there might have been another place or two, but we were over there for 17 days total, so was cool.
Is it true that Germany's like actually like super clean? Somebody said that to me that was in the army that was living over there.
You know, I don't remember it not being clean. Like we were in some areas that like might not have been the cleanest, but in general, from what I remember, it was pretty clean.
Yeah, he was like, it was actually like super clean over there.
The vibe over there was kind of like weird though. Like I felt like there was like still like tension going on with people over there. Like it was kind of like cold and rainy a lot of that trip. Like I think for the first like week we were out, I mean, it rained just about every day. And like, I remember it being rainy when we were in Germany, and it was, I don't know, it just like felt like kind of like a sad vibe there still. Like they still had like some stuff
chip
going
on your shoulder, like you just felt it in the air.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. Like got to see the Berlin Wall and stuff too. So like that was.
You got to see the Berlin Wall?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
It's literally just a wall with spray paint. Like if you get a chance to see it, I would say go see it. But at the same time, you're not going to be super excited to see that wall. It's just a concrete wall. But yeah, definitely one of those places that was cool. But no, Germany was very, very different. The vibe was just kind of different. As far as like places over there that we went to, I would say like Amsterdam was one of those places that like I expected it to be cool. And I went on that trip with like minimal expectations, but like I kind of expected Amsterdam to be cool. And it was significantly cooler than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, it was like way more better.
Oh man, it was just like all the different areas of like the city in general, but just like all the like the bridges over the rivers and like the cobblestone streets and like all of these like super 100-year-old buildings that were like completely remodeled and stuff too. Just like I didn't expect it to be the way that it was, but it was just a very cool vibe over there. I like that place a lot. I would definitely go back there. It's only a 6-hour flight from New York City.
Really?
I didn't know that.
So it's like the same from like NYC to LA as it is NYC to Berlin, or not Berlin, Belgium.
Belgium, that's pretty. That's doable to me.
Yeah, I think we flew into Brussels, so it was 6 hours to Brussels. So it might be a little different with Amsterdam, but I mean in general, it's not that far. Yeah.
So and you said y'all basically traveled from each spot. Y'all basically drove.
We rented a vehicle. We had a van. We got a giant van and drove from Milan to Marseille, France, down on like the French Riviera, and we were supposed to fly, but we got to the airport in Milan, and the security line was like 2 or 3 hours long. Whoa, and we weren't gonna probably make our flight.
2 or 3 hours, bro?
It was insane. I've never seen so many people in a security line before.
Just to go through like they TSA type of shit?
I guess so. Like I don't think any of us like really got like a good explanation to like what exactly was going on that day, but I'd never seen an airport like that. And so we ended up renting a van. Ryan asked me, he's like, "Are you down to drive?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So I was like, about to drive down the French Riviera. So I drove this like gigantic Sprinter van, literally like through Monaco. We drove through Monaco, like where they do the F1, and it was just absolutely beautiful. Like I'm glad we got to drive that. But like in general, we had a couple of flights on that trip, but we took multiple trains and stuff too. So like we got to see a little bit of everything. Got to like went by like Lake Como on a train, like. Probably like one of the most like scenic, beautiful places in Italy I've ever seen in my life. Like looked like it was like on a National Geographic show. It's just unbelievable. It's like looking out the window and I'm like, what is going on? Like I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Just so surreal when you see it
out of a Geographic channel. You're like, oh my god,
it's like
crazy.
what is? I'm actually here, like seeing this with my eyes. It's hard to believe. Yeah,
you doing what I'm like.
No, it's just different. Well, it's like when you're like almost like you're 30 years old and you've never been like to Europe and you get to Europe for the first time too. It's like, wow, like I've seen.
I've never been to Europe, so I know you probably like I got the way I'm visualizing through you.
Yeah,
so you know what I mean.
I'm trying to give you a good
picture.
And
I'm really like you probably was like because like my dream is to see pyramids.
Yeah,
like I would love to like go to like the Mayan ruins and all that. Like I want to see that. Like. That's got to be like the most amazing thing in the world to see something like that.
I can't even imagine. One of our buddies, Justice, shout out Justice, Just Add Water. He was out. I think it's Cyprus. Is that where the pyramids are? Is it Cyprus?
Yeah.
Or like around that area wherever.
So
But he
somewhere
got
in
to see
Egypt,
all that.
yeah.
And he was out there, and it just like the pictures we saw. I was like,
my
oh my
goodness.
God. Like I can't even imagine checking that
I want to
out.
just go in the tomb joint. I was like, let me just go in here.
It's got to be hot. It's got to be so hot out there, though. I can't even imagine. But it'd be worth the trip for sure. 100%.
Yes.
I want to go to Tokyo, man.
Yeah, I've heard crazy things about that.
Facts,
too.
bro.
I've
I heard they
never
got a
been.
vintage night market, bro.
Really?
Yeah, so not just clothes, but like everything vintage, like vintage bikes, cars, and stuff like that.
I follow this page on Instagram. The guy like repairs and sells vintage motorcycles, like 30s, 40s, 50s Harleys, and I can't read any of it because it's all in Japanese. But it's like, it seems like the culture for that kind of stuff out there is like pretty popular too. It seems like they're really into it. That's a cool thing for sure.
No, with knowing like with all the countries that you've been to, cities as well, what would be like your top 5? I'll say it is top 5 food spots. I know you done experienced so many. I know that's hard, but I know you done experienced so many different food spots, snacks, desserts, and things like that. What will be or considered part of your top 5? I'll say it like that.
Oh man, this is super difficult. I would say.
Should I make it 3? That's what you're telling me?
3 would be great because I'm gonna struggle with 3 even honestly. As far as like name brand food places, I can't necessarily name like the restaurants, like especially like the ones over in Europe. I could just think of like the pasta like over in Italy, and like they like ferment their bread. And like their grain and stuff is like different than it is here. So you can eat like a whole pizza over there and not feel like you're full.
Really?
Yeah. And the water, like their water, like still like runs down from the mountains into like, I believe it's aqueducts is what they're called, like from like back in the day and stuff. So their water is just like so much cleaner. And it's like, you hear people talk about like how bad the food is here, but it actually is. Like over there, it's significantly better. And like, you know, like I had a pretty good time partying while I was over there, and you know, was not like living the healthiest life, but as far as how I ate, I still felt significantly better the whole time I was over there than I ever have when I've been home.
Because you know they're feeding us poison here.
Yes, which is crazy.
That's the light. And the light goes off.
So
Right when I say that.
You're good. It's the bass is too loud.
Yeah.
Bass is the sub's knocking the light switch off.
Just so y'all know, this episode is sponsored by Eon. From Thursday to Sunday, come down, show some love. We got great drink specials. We got great Olu, great Solar. You can watch the game in here, man. Yeah, bro, definitely.
Down low, down low, down low. I like my top lit back, lit back.
I got you, nigga.
I'm
show these niggas what to do with one of your beats, man.
Hey,
I'm shutting the whole block down. Here comes trouble, homie. I'ma tell you how the king like to ride, homeboy.
I like my beat down low and my top lit back. You see me ride 24. Hey, shop, hey, holla at ya like you're getting wood high. Hey, your top lit back. If you're real sick high. Hey, yo, windows pitch black. I like my beat down low and my top lit back. You see me ride 24. Hey, shop, hey, holla at ya like you're getting wood high. Hey, your top lit back. If you're real sick high. Hey, yo, windows pitch black.
There you go.
But you were saying,
Yeah,
so we'll
I
say
would
number
say-
1, Italy.
I would say like pasta and food over in Italy. I know that's very vague, but like we'll give that like its own category.
Got you.
As far as back here in the States, I'm gonna have to throw just Chick-fil-A out there in general
Say
because I
less.
just love Chick-fil-A. That's just me.
That's love.
I've been eating at Chick-fil-A, and I'm gonna do a local. I'm gonna do a Pittsburgh shout out to Pita My Shawarma. Have y'all been to Pita My Shawarma?
No.
Oh my God. It is like this Lebanese street food restaurant. There is one in Lawrenceville on Butler Street, and there's another one in Wexford. And it's so like imagine like a gyro, like Greek food, but it's got a Lebanese spin on it.
Okay.
So it has like different ingredients and stuff that you can add into it. But I get like a shawarma and rice bowl, which is like kebab chicken that they cut off the kebab. They got the kebab there just like spinning all day. And it is delicious. They have this like sriracha aioli that I get on it. Like, highly recommend. Like,
That sounds
15,
fair.
16 bucks for a bowl. I haven't been there in like a few weeks, but like I'm gonna go this week because it's like one of my favorite spots in the city. So shout out to Peter My Shawarma. Oh, I'm definitely gonna send it.
Yeah.
You said Peter. Say that again.
Peter My Shawarma.
Peter.
It's kind of hard to say. But
Peter Mash Shawarma.
Yeah, I'll drop you all the link though. It's
definitely.
delicious. It's like one of my favorite
I'm all about
spots.
trying a new spot.
And I never had it till this year. Like, I just randomly like went one day and I got like hooked on it. It's so good. So good.
It's like that with me for Piccolo Forno.
I've heard of it. I've never been.
Bro, it's really good. So it's a pizza spot, but they got more than just pizza.
Okay.
But me and a homie, Ricky, shout out Heat Check, he was like, bro, he's like, he's like, I really can't, I don't really eat crazy, but he said, since we down in Lawrenceville, we gotta go to Piccolo Forno.
Okay.
And we was at Field Day.
Yeah.
If you know where that's at. So it's like diagonal from there. So I was like, all right, that's cool. Went over there. I think I got like the hot honey sauce on it and everything, bro.
Okay.
I almost finished my whole pizza, bro. And I think it's like either 6 or 8 slices.
Oh my god! Hey, sometimes you're just hungry, and if it tastes that good, like that makes it hard to put it down. That's how you know you got yourself some good food.
Bro, I was running through it. I was like, I gotta save some of this, cause man, I think I saved maybe 2 pieces.
I will say Pittsburgh is just like top tier for food, though. Like we're very blessed. Like we have so many good food spots around here, and like I always like tell people, I'm like, I need to get out of the box and try more things here as far as the food. Like there's so many places that I hear about and I see people promote and I just haven't been to. And I think that's just like me being a little bit complacent. And I need to quit doing that because I know we got a lot of great options here for sure.
Yeah, it's different out the box, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Just another question is going into like, if there was a artist that you would like to work with, what are some like top tier artists like that that's in the industry right now that you would like to work with?
As far as like being a tour manager for?
If you could just have an experience, like you just wanted to have that experience, like who would you love to really work with?
If it ran its course the right way.
Yeah, let's get 5 in there.
You know, if I had to go experience wise, I would probably go the country direction just because I haven't had a direction like that yet. I've worked on the EDM side, kind of helped with the rap and hip hop side a little bit, but like grew up listening to country music and I'm a big country music fan too. So I would say artist wise in particular, like I don't really have anyone in particular. I just think like the genre of the music in general, like I would like to see how that side of things is run. Like, I mean, they're all kind of run, I'm sure, in the same way, similarly of some aspects, but like I know that there's like different moving parts for all of it too. But I guess I can't think of like any artist in particular that I'm like, dead set that I would want to work with. Like the way I look at like tour managing is, it's like if I'm lucky enough to work with someone, it was probably from a connection that one of my people had and presented to me, or I randomly met that person and got lucky. You know what I mean? It's like I love the people that I work with. I don't go out seeking to tour manage anyone. You know what I mean? Like I'm not doing stuff like that. But aside from like, it just seems like it's opportunities that get presented to you. It's like they're like blessings that you get and you receive. So it's one of those things. But I would say if I had to pick a different genre, I would maybe like try the country route just to see what the countryside's like, because that's I like the yeehaw stuff too. So I'm from the sticks originally.
Yeah,
so. He said I'm from the sticks.
Yeah, I'm still out there quite a bit. So.
Definitely.
Now just to pivot a little bit. I know we spoke on you being a tour manager and everything, but if you could speak on both your other brands that you got.
Yeah. So Hippie at Heart was a clothing brand I started 10 years ago. It'll be 11 years in November. Last year, I literally just took a complete hiatus from it because, long story short, had to like renew business licenses and do some things for the company in general through the state that the state told me it would not take more than a month, and it turned into 7-8 months for some of the things that were supposed to get taken care of very quickly, and they didn't. And so it turned into me kind of like redirecting my attention towards the vintage. But as far as like Hippie at Heart, like, hats, hoodies, tees, jerseys, all kinds of stuff, and just try to like be creative and kind of get outside the box and just like be unique, kind of catered to like the EDM scene a little bit too. But like I kind of want to go all different directions with it here over the next couple of years coming up. I've got a lot of ideas, and I'm about to be relaunching it here too. Haven't really said that out loud, but that's another thing that's going to be happening here shortly. As far as the vintage goes, Randy Restock, I sell at Bohem down in Lawrenceville, 5156 Butler Street. If you want to pull up, Mr. Lay, Mr. Mill Street sells down there too.
Yes, sir.
Both of our clothes are in that store, so that's a great spot down there. Yeah, Cam Horn, baby. So I sell on Depop too, but like I also do like a lot of like, you know, Instagram, Snapchat story sales and stuff like that too. I'm just like, I'm not a person that's gonna like sit around and wait until someone decides they're paying my price. Like I'm flipping it quick and I'm getting them going, and I'm going and I'm buying more stuff. Like that's how I do it. To each their own. I know everybody got their own way of doing stuff, but I'm trying to move it quick.
Yeah, that's what it's about, bro.
Yep.
That's definitely what it's about.
But it's fun. I love it. I've always like kind of had a knack for the vintage stuff too. I was gonna say, I don't want to go too far off topic, but like how I got into vintage in the first place.
I was about to ask that. You already
Okay.
took the word
All right.
out of
That's
my
one of the
mouth.
questions. All right. Well,
How did you get into the
that
vintage
one.
world?
So,
Just a little bit.
so fun fact, the lead singer of Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor, is from my hometown.
Oh.
He went to, he was a little bit younger than my parents, but went to high school with my parents.
Okay.
And I went to high school with his niece and nephew. And when I was growing up, my mom is a beautician, and she cut Trent's mom's hair when his mom was still alive. And so, like, when I was a little kid, his mom would give us 90s, like, Nine Inch Nails tour merch for Christmas. So I would, like, end up with a bunch of Nine Inch Nails shirts. And, like, at the time, like, everybody in my hometown, like, fucked heavy with Nine Inch Nails, and I didn't even know who Nine Inch Nails was. Like, I didn't understand the music. Like, and like that's a lot of
I
my
don't know what's going
inspiration
on.
for like the things I do now, and a lot of like my creative direction. I've like watched Trent like very particularly, and like how he's done things, and it's like he's very out there, and he was like one of those people that it was like, you know, from the outside looking in, from like Mercer, PA, like he was that guy, like, oh, he's crazy, and it's like,
facts.
but look at this man, like look what he's done, and so like he was just like always a big inspiration to me in general, but that was kind of like what got me into vintage shirts in the first place. Like a lot of those T-shirts now are worth like $300, $400, $500, $600, which is
are, bro.
absolutely insane.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Even
so-
when you just said that, I was like, anybody that's listening to this now, know your ass popped out your head if you sell vintage. You said, what, for Christmas?
Yeah, like, I swear, I still got a bunch of them. Like, my mom still got a bunch of them, too. Like, she'll just, like, be in her shop. I ain't gonna drop her age, but she just, like, in her shop, like, wearing a Nine Inch Nails t-shirt, like, in Mercer, PA. But, like, that's one of those things, like, I remember growing up, like, being in, like, elementary school, middle school. It's, like, I can remember, like, literally, like, particular people that were, like, wearing, like, particular Nine Inch Nails tour shirts. Like, even some of my cousins that, like, they had a couple of these shirts they cut the sleeves off of, and then now it's like a $900 shirt, and I'm just like, I'll like have a bad dream about it sometimes, like wake up and I'm like, oh my god, like I wonder where that shirt is now. You know?
None went out with the trash one day. You never know.
You never know. It's hard to say.
On the
You
move.
never know, bro.
And they might still have it somewhere. I haven't seen a couple of them in a while to ask, but I'm gonna ask them next time I see them for sure.
That's true too. That's true too.
Yep.
Oh, it's just in the garage. I'm gonna go get them for you. What?
That's
Go
one of
get
those
'em.
things too. Like I've always like I keep a look on like Facebook Marketplace a lot of times to like buy vintage and stuff too, and I'm just waiting to like pull up to a Mercer yard sale one of these days and like find like a box of like 15 Nine Inch Nails t-shirts, and like it's never happened. I've never found one at a thrift. Like
He gonna manifest that.
I'm trying.
You already
really,
speaking into
really hard,
existence.
bro.
He said he's gonna pop on his lap
And,
one
like,
day.
I am gonna
When he
find a
takes-
9 Inch Nail shirt at the thrift this week.
Let me
Like,
see, bro, in the story, like,
You're gonna get
You
the
know what
first.
time it
You're
is.
gonna get the first picture when I do it too. You're gonna know it happened real quick.
oh God, I'm gonna be like, shh, see, seeing is believing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
he definitely believe it.
I got another kind of like random story about that. What's the company? Helly Hansen, the like ski snowboard jacket. I guess it's ski, but I snowboard, so I call it snowboard stuff too.
How long? Hold on. Pause.
Yes.
He said it's no more, so I want to learn that. So like, how long did it take for you to really get it down packed? Just a quick, but no, don't gotta go far down that line because I want you to finish what you were saying.
Yeah.
I just wanted to pause you right there for a second.
No, so it took me a solid 3 or 4 times going before I was like good enough to like not fall on my ass every single time. But like it probably took me 2 or 3 seasons or years of going like
consecutively?
5, 6, 7 times in a season before I like got decent. But I've been doing it since I was 15. I had an ex that snowboarded and like kind of like passive aggressively convinced me to get a snowboard for Christmas the one year, and I am glad I did because like I've loved it ever since. Like I don't get to go out too much. Like this season I went out like twice. But I mean, it's hard. We had Fed out there this year, and Fed did a pretty good job. Like, yeah, he's athletic. Like he picked it up pretty quick. But like a lot of people don't pick it up real easy. But like I've had so many people that ski tell me like, oh, like you gotta try skiing. And like I just remember I tried skiing one time on like a school trip, and I had no one teaching me, and I had no idea what I was doing, and I was just going like full speed down a black diamond type hill and just like eating shit, hurting myself. And so like skiing just never did it for me because like I just knew like mentally it was like hard for me and I didn't want to try it. I was like okay at snowboarding, so like I've always been doing that. But snowboarding's definitely fun. Highly recommend it. It's one of those things that's like you can get hurt, but like you can also like next to like golf, like you can, or bowling, like you can like do that the rest of your life, providing you're in fairly good shape. So, but on the Helly Hansen, so the manifestation thing. So I'm gonna run this one back. I was in line. This was this season at Seven Springs, and I saw this dude that had this sick '90s Helly ski jacket. And I remembered like the writing that was on the back of it. It was like equip, like EQUIPE, and I don't even know what that necessarily means. But like I saw it and I was like, that is such a cool jacket. And I like turned to one of my friends who was with me. I was like, look at that jacket, like that's sick. Literally, that was on like I think it was a Saturday or a Sunday, or it might even I think it was a weekday actually. I think it was like a Monday or a Tuesday. But it was like 2 days later. I went to the thrift store in like a completely different town, like hours away from Seven Springs, and I found the exact same jacket in a different colorway. But and it was like $10, and it was like $140 jacket. It was like one of those things. I'm like, what are the odds that happened? Like I've never seen that jacket at a thrift ever. But it was like I had just seen it like on the slopes that day, and then 2-3 days later I found it in the thrift.
It's like full circle for real.
You just don't know. Like I've had weird shit like that happen.
I had convos like that, bro. We was talking about wrestling tees one time. I ended up in a whole bag. Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Stone Cold, a WWF, and it was one more I can't remember. But it was all just in this one bag, and everything else around it was like stuff from 2012.
Oh my god!
I was just like, who the fuck was this person?
Yeah, like someone just pulled up and dropped it off. Yeah,
bro, it was the.
I don't want it no more.
And like literally was in a bag, but that was all in one bag.
Oh my god!
Like a grocery bag. I was just like,
it was meant to be.
And we was just talking about just random wrestling tees, like just wrestling in general. I was just like, that was weird as fuck. Like,
that's manifesting.
It's like I'm going home.
It's like, it's like I better get back to the house, like right now. No, that's a good thing when that happens. You don't ever expect it to happen, but when it does, it just kind of like throws you a little bit.
No, facts.
For sure.
But before we get up out of here, you know, just another question, you know what I'm saying, before we get out of here is that, what's the best advice that you would give somebody that would be trying to pursue to be a road manager, to try to even get involved into that world?
I would say go meet as many people as you can and network as much as you can. And once you get in that position and you're doing that job, take care of yourself. Mental health, like health, food, eating general, like that you just have to be mentally, physically on top of your game. I see so many of these people, like God love them, like they just struggle. Like a lot of us struggle. Like it's a hard life to live. You don't sleep right. A lot of times, like your mind's not focused on taking care of yourself. You're focused on taking care of everybody around you, and it's very difficult. Like I've seen myself struggle a lot just by like not understanding how important it is to like make time for yourself and make sure that you're good and that you have to be good before anybody around you can be good.
No, facts.
So that's what I would say. I would say take care of yourself, and also just like bust your ass. You know what I mean? Like take care of yourself, but like do your job better and harder than you need to. Go out of your way for people. Do what you can, but like do more than you need to.
No, facts. Appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, no, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Appreciate
it. This was an awesome time. Appreciate y'all.
Until next time.
Until next time.